Yeah, we got both sides. Ready when you are, Mr. Magoo. Well, here's Peter with his 21 goals, helped Aston Villa to the First Division Championship, his first cap now coming at the age of 29. And Alvin Martin of West Ham, thrust into this battle because of injuries to other central defenders. At 22, I suppose he's more one for the future. At any rate, here's the England side. 7 changes forced on Ron Greenwood from the team that drew here against Romania. With Peter Barnes and Graham Rix returning, there could be an upturn in the skill factor. But it's an England side that's been torn apart by injuries and withdrawals. And its captain is the goalkeeper, nobody more popular, of course, than Ray Clements. As for Brazil, well, this is just about their strongest side available. I tell you, we're going to be struggling for time, Lewis. Can we not pick it up on Brazil? Okay. Well, as for Brazil, this is just about their strongest side available. The bulk of them were in the team that narrowly lost in the recent Gold Cup final in Uruguay. Their outstanding men are Cerezo and Socrates in midfield, Ronaldo and Zico, who are prolific scorers up front. And Zico, who scored 7 times in the last 6 games for Brazil, well, he's the man who has the unenviable tag of being called the successor to the great Pelé, as if such a thing were possible. The referee tonight, it's Erich Linnemeyer of Austria. And here is England's new captain, goalkeeper Ray Clements, the first goalkeeper to captain England since the great Frank Swift did so in 1948. And one of the games where Frank was captain, England went to Italy and won 4-0, and I suppose that's the sort of stuff we want to see from England tonight. So England, in a change strip of red shirts and white shorts, get us away. They attack the goal to our left. Brazil, in that world-famous strip of theirs, yellow shirts and blue shorts tonight in white stockings. And a lovely little back heel sends Zico on his way straight away. It really is a test for England here tonight. There's Isidoro falling on the turf there, and the ball coming to Peter Barnes. The last time that England beat Brazil was away back in 1956 when Stanley Matthews was playing and Billy Wright and the great Duncan Edwards. Since then, well, indeed, 11 times these sides have met, and that is the only English victory. Brazil, in fact, have a better record against England than any other overseas country. Number 2 here is Edivaldo. Socrates to Luizinho. And that's Junior, Eder. Number 5, Cerezo. Here's Socrates, a doctor. And a good piece of defensive play there straight away by Graham Rix for England, giving Coppell possession. And a little indication there in those opening moments of what Brazil can produce. Some 12 passes or so without an England player getting near to it. Here's McDermott, and now Wilkins with his first touch. Really not a very effective one, giving the ball to Eder here, wearing number 18. Little chip inside. And Rix Couldn't quite get to that one. Oscar was too fast for him. Socrates now for Brazil, and straight at the New England captain. Here's Socrates. 4 goals in the last 4 internationals for Brazil. A qualified doctor, incidentally, who specialises of all things in feet, which maybe is very appropriate. A good ball played through here. Cerezo now. Socrates once more. Peter Barnes. Trying to turn Isidoro one way and the other, but in the end it's a free kick, I think. For a push by Peter Barnes. A free kick to Brazil. And a strange one to say the least, but it's Junior on the far side to the goalkeeper Valdir. Oscar. Socrates. Zico, a little touch for Adair. It's Junior. Cerezo. Junior again. Cerezo. Possession play. Skillful, accurate passing. Sanson winning that ball in the air, getting it back again from his Arsenal teammate Graham Rix, and here's Brian Robson. Alvin Martin. And Oscar clearly realises he's going to have to accept a physical challenge from Peter With in the air tonight, and gave With a little bit of that treatment himself there. McDermott getting in behind them, but not a lot of space by that corner flag, but nonetheless gets the ball in for Peter Barnes here. Now Barnes, will he take him on? Obstruction there inside the box by Oscar, an indirect free kick. Oh, that was a nice little indication there from Peter Barnes of his willingness to take people on. The Austrian referee with his arm well aloft there, indicating to everybody, of course, it's got to be an indirect free kick inside the penalty area. Rix floating it there, but too far for With. And Socrates a little lucky there. Adair. Lovely left foot he's got, but that time headed away by McDermott. Now Zico. Isidoro. Zico, Reinaldo, and Socrates. Junior used to be a winger, now a defender, so you can see he's got good attacking intentions all the time. A lovely ball played there by Socrates. And Martin. Played there by Koppel, first time for McDermott. And now Peter With trying to get number 10, Graham Rix on his way, but cut out quite easily there. And here's Oscar for Brazil. Cerezo. Zico. Cut out again by Sanson. Here's Peter Barnes. Flicked inside there for Wilkins. A chest down by Socrates. Finding Zico. Socrates. Isidoro. Nice little bit of a play there, bringing Edevaldo into it. Socrates, still the fullback Edevaldo, but Brian Robson across. Zico. And Junior. And wide for Adair. And the ball coming off Phil Neal for a Brazilian throw. A slight half mistake there by Robson, almost letting Zico in, but Ray Clements. Kenny Sanson for England. Ricks. Here's McDermott. Kneel away on that right touchline. Wilkins. Biggest problem for England at the moment after their recent poor form and facing a Brazilian side with the reputation they've got is not to become overawed. Sanson now finding Ricks. And the Brazilians in these opening minutes give the impression of being a very composed side indeed. Well, the Austrian linesman here was flagging for an offside against Ronaldo, but Linnemar, the referee, didn't see him. In the end, there was no danger for England. Sanson, unaware that Isidoro was quickly onto him, but the ball nonetheless found Peter Wynn. Into a bit of space there for Ricks. And Ricks dwelt on it a little too long, and Isidoro was back there. Cerezo, Oscar, Isidoro. Luizinho. And now Koppel. Neil outside him, but Koppel's cross coming towards Peter With. And Ricks couldn't quite get in, but it's a throw to England. Sanson. Ricks. Wilkins. There of getting nowhere fast. Koppel's little flick on for Peter With. And calmly getting themselves out of trouble, it was Junior hiding Zico. Brazilians look as though they might be ready to explode. Wijnaldum and Ada in a lot of space there down the left-hand side, and Robson across superbly for England. But they really opened up England there with a little explosive burst, the Brazilians. And there was a lot of space for this number 18 on the far side, Ada. One pass there, one pass there, and look at the space. And look at the defending here of Brian Robson. That could have been embarrassing. Koppel. Adair to Oscar. Zico to Cerezo. Socrates. It's a real object lesson in possession football, this at the moment, but can they find an explosion near the end of it to make it all worthwhile? Zico in possession now. It must be 8 or 9 passes, 10, 11 should we say. Making a lot of progress, but keeping possession, and certainly they've got a few people forward. Here's Socrates. Here's another pass, this time for Zico, a little back heel for Socrates, and Clements helped by Wilkins. McDermott. England favouring along the ball there, but cut out by Oscar. Now Isidoro. Cerezo, a little ball through for Ronaldo, and Alvin Martin doing well there. That was a beautifully weighted ball there from the midfield of Cerezo. And Martin did well to nick it away from Ronaldo. But they're looking a little menacing so far as their skill factor in this game is concerned, the Brazilians. There's Zico with a lovely ball to Isidoro, or rather to Zico, a goal! Promising for a long time for the Brazilians. Edivaldo's ball in, suddenly it flew nicely for Zico beyond Ray Clements into the corner of the net, and Brazil a goal up with 11 minutes gone. Edivaldo playing the ball in there, and in truth it fell favourably for Zico, but his ability to get a quick shot in there on target was absolutely supreme. So Brazil go into the lead with 11 minutes gone. And Zico the score. And the shot that time from Ricks. Saved by Valdir. He's a 30-year-old goalkeeper. He looks a little older than that. He's been in a couple of World Cups, but not actually played. Zico. Edivaldo. That's the unhappy scoreline for England. And Zico, with 7 goals in the last 6 internationals, makes it 8 now in the last 7. Brazilians last here in 1978, and England drew 1-1 with playing it in for Barnes. Trying to get a 1-2 going with Koppel, but Koppel was very well marked indeed. The long ball out to Adair. Ronaldo. And a nice bit of skill again there with Cerezo finding Edivaldo. Now Isidoro. Ronaldo. Zico, the scorer. Isidoro. And a throw to England. He's been clearly indicating a throw to England, but Isidoro thought it was a Brazilian throw, and he'll have to come back. Wilkins. Martin. Neil. And an onside. In fact, it was Edivaldo on this side, keeping McDermott onside, and England get a corner. Barnes with the corner. Martin's come up for it. Wood is at the near post. Wide there towards Ray Wilkins, hoping to get one on the volley, but Oscar broke quickly enough to deny him. Ricks. Ball there. There's Wilkins coming and busying himself, finding Robson in turn across the line here for Alvin Martin. Further across the line this time to Phil Neal. And now to Terry McDermott. So a quarter of an hour gone, and Brazil leading by 1-0. Here's Ricks. Back to Valdir. The Brazilian bench, I would think, very satisfied with the way things are going so far, and every reason to be. Luisinho to Ada. Forward now to Junior. It was Phil Neal who dispossessed him. And Peter Barnes on that side of the field. Ray Wilkins. Neal. Down, free kick. So Neal with the free kick for England. Towards Peter With, couldn't quite make it in the air. Luizinho was there. It's Junior who half completes the clearance for an England throw. Wilkins nicking it back to Phil Neal. Going backwards. Martin. Nonetheless finding Neal. Flicked in for Peter Barnes. Here's McDermott. Koppel playing it in for Neal. McDermott. Back for Neal again. And Koppel couldn't keep it in. The throw to Brazil. Moment playing like the makeshift side that they are, certainly looking at the moment second best to the Brazilians as Zico moves the ball on again for Ronaldo to chase, and he might be Alvin Martin. Ronaldo going all the way. No, I think the whistle had gone. The whistle had gone, and Ronaldo will be denied. It was fouled by Alvin Martin. And Ronaldo, whose finishing was superb in the way he shrugged off the unfair challenger for Alvin Martin. And we're going to get a free kick now. There was the pushing and shoving. And Ronaldo went on and finished it. But by now the whistle had gone. Now let's see what the Brazilians can do with this free kick. Adair's there. Zico's there. Socrates is in the wall. It might be left foot by Adair. It is, and it's a save. Well, Ray Clements more than equal to that one. And so it's a corner for Brazil. Held in there, and a safe catch this time by Clements. And now Wilkins. Brian Robson. Isidoro. Socrates. Sorezzo. Ronaldo. And here's Luizinho. Adair. And there's McDermott. Martin getting in there. Socrates. A good solid English challenge, but it wasn't well received by the Austrian referee, by Brian Robson. But at this moment in the game, you have to say that England are truly getting a lesson in the finer skills of the game of football from what looks to be a really menacing and highly skilled Brazilian side. That was a slack free kick though by Socrates, going straight to Rix. Barnes trying to get the better of Oscar, and could well get the better of Oscar, but unfortunately yet again, well, that's an amazing decision by the Austrian referee. He's given a foul against Peter Barnes. Oscar. Edevaldo. Oscar again. there by Neil, but backed up by Martin. Back to Ray Clements. Wilkins. Wilkins again. Now Neil. Wilkins. Zico trying to again get the pace of a front man, that time Socrates. Sanson. A long ball forward for Ricks to chase from midfield, but really without a hope of getting it. Playing it at their pace at the moment. Junior playing the ball in, that's Clements. Ricks. Robson was making a break from the back, but the pass didn't get to him, and here's Zico again. Number 10 played on for Isidoro. And now maybe a chance for England to break. Brazil have got a few forward. Suddenly England have got one or two forward themselves, as Barnes fights Sanson. Now McDermott. Wilkins. And again tied it up without any real threat coming to that Brazilian goal. Oscar, the big central defender. Cerezo, a real majestic looking midfield player. Now Oscar, who's really the key man in the defence. Isidoro, Zico. And Neil back to Ray Clements. Robson. Ricks. Barnes up ahead of him. Well, there by Cerezo, number 5. So Ricks behind it, and Wilkins also. Barnes has gone wide. They may want to play it to him, and they have. A little shimmy, a little dummy. Can he get to the byline and whip across in? Well, it's behind the goal line for the goal kick. You hate to get the feeling that maybe Barnes, if he could play out wide and be fed consistently down that left and Coppell down the right. I feel a little sorry at the moment for Peter With, who really has had nothing in the air to go for. Hasn't really been getting the sort of crosses that he likes to have a jump at. And there's one coming deep for With, but quite comfortably beaten in the air that time by Oscar. Here's Peter With again. This time finding Barnes. Played in first time for Ricks. Over the head of Ruzinho now. Can With get to that one before he reaches the byline? Well, a miss kick and a goal kick. Aldir, who's played in the last 7 internationals for Brazil. Martin with Ronaldo. Now it's Robson. Sanson. Barnes. Wilkins. With chesting it down for Wilkins. McDermott had made a great run through the middle. Sanson, England with a few forward. Now with Coppell on this side of the field, finding Wilkins. In turn for Peter Barnes. Free kick. Foul by Socrates. And England with a free kick. Ricks with coming in, or Martin rather, coming in on the far side there, and Oscar getting it away. Ronaldo. Again for Oscar. And this time Socrates chasing it. Robson the last man, and coming away with it quite comfortably for England. But Brazil still leading by a goal to nil, scored by Zico. And here's Peter Barnes. Ricks. Barnes getting in quickly. Ricks just trying to flick it through there. Gets it through to With at the second attempt. Played here for Peter Barnes. Well, it's a free kick, I think, to England, yes. Dermot playing it back for Brian Robson. Wilkins again. Ricks taken nicely on his chest. An interesting cross there, but Valdir clutching it out of the air before it could reach Peter Wood on the far side. Well, it was almost the sort of cross that Peter With would want. Given a lot of air there by Ricks, but Valdir, the goalkeeper, getting in before the number 9. So Zico finding an Adair who was offside. 23-year-old. Just basically a very young Brazilian side with people like number 4, Luizinho, who's only 22. Edevaldo, who's 24. And here's Peter Barnes for England. Wilkins, Ricks, the crowd trying to get behind Ron Greenwood's men. It's a nice little flick in there by Ricks for With to Sanson. And the shot there by McDermott. And that's the first real bit of trouble there for the Brazilians. And the first little bit of forward play by England that looked as though it might open them up. There's a lovely ball in the first place from Ricks, chested down by With. Sanson's cross coming in, McDermott catching it well on the volley, and as you can see, the keeper was well behind it even though he couldn't hold it. So half an hour gone, and England have put their first threatening attack together. Still find themselves a goal down. Strong challenge there between Sanson and Isidoro. Isidoro, the number 7 who was sent off in a World Cup qualifier against Venezuela. Oscar with the header. Edevaldo, Wilkins in there again. Edevaldo, Socrates towards Zico, cut out though by Koppel. It's Phil Neal. And now Junior, the back heel this time for Cesaro. Zico. Koppel. Kept his feet. He had a couple of really nasty challenges there, but he kept his feet, kept possession. Oh, and now England have given it away. Ronaldo with Isidoro outside him. And there's the ball played, but an offside, and a free kick already taken. Wilkins to With. Now Barnes. Robson, that's a good ball there. Finding Koppel on the far side. And a good cross by him for Peter With. Oh, and Valmier was lucky there. That's the sort of service Peter With wants. And that was the service provided by Steve Koppel, who did superbly to get to that byline. Barnes, who played it to Koppel, and With powering in there, and look how lucky the keeper was. So Koppel with the corner. So Sanson with the throw for England. A little bit of hope now coming. Ricks. That'll come England's way again. Koppel. That's exactly why Peter With has been picked for this one. And I hope that he might get himself on the end of one of those sort of crosses. They've been in fairly short supply up till now. Barnes on the far side with the two England wide men having switched wings. And Barnes having a little niggle there at Junior. Junior, the number 6 here, having blatantly obstructed Peter Barnes. And now Barnes has got away from him. Right foot this time. And Barnes has been dumped in that corner flag, and it may have been after the ball had gone. There was a little bit of a feud between him and Junior, and McDermott, in fact, has gone over to the number 6 as well to ask him what that was all about. And Adair and Junior between them, I think, dishing out a bit of stuff in that far corner to Peter Barnes. But here's Edivaldo, really powerfully built fullback. Socrates, Zico. Junior's gone through from the back. On the far side is Adair. Here comes the cross, and Clement's cutting it out. The crowd booing Adair for some of the treatment he gave Peter Barnes a moment ago. It's now with Kenny Sanson. England looking a little more committed to the task than they were in the opening quarter of an hour. Encouraged by the header of Peter With that could so easily have brought them an equaliser. So 10 minutes of the first half to go now as Koppel finds his way blocked in the end by Isidoro. Junior getting a bit of booing as well. But here's Isidoro. Now Socrates. A really languid approach that Socrates seems to have. Zico, who's very busy indeed. Junior trying to get it through to Adair again. The flag is up on this side. And a free kick. McDermott. Ricks. McDermott. With Koppel. Didn't seem to be able to play to me, but the linesman who was directly there said yes it was. It's a throw to Brazil. Edivaldo with it. Oscar. Zico. Isidoro. Switched in there towards Socrates, the big man who'd come up from midfield. Didn't play either as a striker or a midfielder, Socrates, but he's more as a midfielder tonight. Oscar keeping a very close watch indeed on Peter With, the number 3. There's With getting away from his man this time, and the ball finding Koppel. The cross coming in. Peter Barnes on the far side couldn't keep his feet. Now can Neil get it back? England's throw. Ricks. With the right knee of Zico. Junior, Adair. Socrates with a little flick there to Luizinho. Oscar. Socrates. Zico. Junior. Kenny Sanson will cut that one out, but his header goes straight here to Eldovado. Brazil, who qualified for the World Cup finals in Spain already. Alvin Martin. The 4 qualifying games brought them a maximum of 8 points. England's ball. Qualifying for the World Cup is not a new experience by any means for the Brazilians. They've played in every World Cup final in the final series, and of course they've won the World Cup on 3 occasions. And they clearly here have got the makings of a side that's going to be a big threat in Spain next year. Well, here's Phil Neal for England. Lifting the ball in there for Koppel. Little back heel, but it didn't come off for him. Wilkins trying to make something of it. And Ronaldo, who was never offside. The Brazilian bench are going mad on the far side with that linesman's decision, and I'm not surprised. I was directly in line, and Ronaldo was in no way offside. But here's Sanson. Played in for Barnes. Quickly had to play it because his heels were being snapped, and that's Ricks quite comfortably into the arms of Valdir. A throw out here to Zico. Isidoro, Socrates. Rivaldo going down wide. A little flick in there again for Isidoro. And again Ray Clements is out, supported by Robson. And now McDermott for England. England still this goal down. Played on by Neil, but here's Zico in possession. Brian Robson to Ray Wilkins. Neil now to Wilkins. Played in again for McDermott. Hit well and saved well. He had to readjust completely there, McDermott, because suddenly he found it on his left foot when really he wanted it on his right. But he still got his shot in. Wilkins playing that penetrating ball. And McDermott hitting it first time, Valdir saving. Junior for Oscar. And now Koppel on the break, coming towards half-time, and across the face of that Brazilian goal again. And well, England having one or two breaks, they're putting them together now, but there's no doubt that the Brazilians are still looking the better side, but England are warming to the task and taking a little bit of encouragement now from the breaks they are making. Koppel on this occasion putting it beyond Valdir, but well beyond the post as well. The left foot of Adair, a lovely ball there, nodded in first time by Edevaldo. Here's Isidoro. Sanson not giving him a moment's peace. And in the end, a free kick given by the referee and not by the linesman. He didn't indicate anything like that, and yet he was right there. So it's Edevaldo with the free kick for Brazil. Socrates has moved into the box there. Reinaldo was there too, a little man who somehow got his header in. Terrific little number 9 this. He played in the 78 World Cup, but he's had cartilage operations in both his knees, and that really has stunted his progress a little bit. But he's still shown himself to be quite a front player. Edevaldo. Ronaldo, a lovely little touch again there for Socrates. Back again this time for Cerezo. Here's Adair. This will come for Zico. Again, they love that little back heel, but it didn't come off on that occasion. And here's Rix leading the charge for England. He's got With up ahead of him. Socrates, who gave the ball away, getting back quickly, and then Rix's final pass not likely to reach Barnes. And England get a throw. In the last minute now of the first half. Sanson flicked into Barnes. And Sanson's determination getting England another chance there. And Edevaldo finding Zico. Socrates. Junior, Zico, and the half-time whistle goes as Junior had made a tremendous run from the back, and Brazil go in leading by 1-0, scored by Zico so early in the game and looking the better side, but England keeping themselves in the game with a good battling performance that at least keeps themselves afloat at half-time here. Well, we'll have to see how things work out in the second half. That's the half-time score. England 0, Brazil 1, and we'll be back with that second half.